Welcome, Dan. It's great to have you here. People in the Peace region know you as a councillor of the city of Fort St. John. Please tell us a little more about yourself in your own words.
Well, I'm born and raised here in Fort St. John. My family moved to the community following the Second World War. My grandfather got a teaching job here at the high school. And of course, the rest of my family has been up in the North Peace for many years. Graduated out of North Peace Secondary School. I was always been involved in politics in some way, shape, or form. Being involved in the high school politics on student council, and in fact, the year that our new high school, and I call it new, it was new in 1990 when I was there. I was the president of the high school the opening year. So, following high school, I went into the oil and gas industry. In fact, the rest of my family. My father worked at the McMahon plant in Taylor for 36 and a half years. In fact, he opened the plant in 1956 and closed it in 1991 about. So I kind of followed in the footsteps of the rest of my family, went in pipelining following my graduation, did pipe fitting, went and became a welder's helper, got very involved in welding for a number of years, and then went and got my Class 1 driver's license and went driving commercial truck in the industry, operating heavy equipment, moving equipment around, and ended up at Inland Concrete for a number of years in the construction industry. And then a number of years after that, decided to just a change in life, and enrolled here at Northern Lights College and started pursuing a degree in education. So I went through Northern Lights and the ACOTE program at Northern Lights College, graduated out of Simon Fraser University with a Bachelor in Education, or Bachelor of Education, and started teaching as a professional educator for the school district 10 years ago. So, and I guess most recently, I have just graduated with a master's degree from Gonzaga University in leadership and administration. I'm married. My wife Erin. I have two children, Noel and Hannah, and we've all been very involved. My wife's a school board trustee. She's a counselor here in Fort St. John. Even my children are already following in their mom and dad's footsteps by becoming involved in different community programs. So it's a family affair, being involved in our community, and a little bit later in the interview I'll get into some of the things that I've done, but just always been involved in our community and look forward to being here for many years to come.
Thank you. And which community service roles have you liked the most?
Oh, I mean, I've sat on many different organizations, ranging from just volunteering, helping out, to, running the different organizations. Probably the four that have had the biggest impact on me, outside of City Council, but, for community organizations. In 1994, I enrolled in the Canadian Armed Forces Reserves and in support of the cadet program. And, I'm now into my 22nd year of doing that, so I obviously enjoy it. Having, first of all, I mean, it's made me a better person, the program itself, and seeing so many young people becoming so successful as a result of, the program, what the program offers. Giving many young people as well the opportunity that they might not have received anywhere else from other organizations. So I think the biggest impact that an organization's had on me is being involved within the cadet program. Restorative justice, I've been involved with the North Peace Justice Society, and in fact I chair the organization now. Again, it's another really important positive community program that has such an incredible impact on people, a positive impact on people. We know that sometimes people make mistakes, they make bad choices. And if the opportunity is right for them and they go through our program, at the end of the day, we've made a much better citizen, for our community and for our country. And that's a huge positive impact for the community, as well as we administer the community gardens, which is great, and some of the other community hours that the clients do for the community is again a huge impact. Kind of tied in with and I got involved in them at the same time with the Royal Canadian Legion. The Legion is first and foremost an organization that supports our veterans, and I have utmost respect for our veterans who have served overseas, and given us so many of the freedoms that we have today. So I've been the past vice president of the Legion. Been on the board for many years, and it's a great organization to get involved in that aspect, but also the amount that the Legion gives back to the community, not just through the way of seniors and veterans, but it houses many organizations such as First the Cadets. It houses the Elks program, or the Elks. The Kin Club. It looks after the ATV Club. It gives back a significant amount of money into our community through the Poppy campaign, through the Hospital Foundation. It supports minor hockey. So again, it's a great organization to be involved in, and we're very lucky in Fort St. John to have such a thriving organization like the Legion. And recently, I've been very involved in, and one of the founders with the FSJ for LNG group organization. In fact, I'm the vice chair of that organization as well. And we've seen such a significant downturn in the economy. It has been really great to see people come together, in such a positive way to get the word out to Canada, to our federal government, and to talk about, here's how the slowdown in the economy has really affected us. And we've done some fantastic things, and it's been great working with so many different people on that organization. So I would say those are probably the four that have really had an impact on me, and I feel that I've had a real positive impact back to the organizations.
And what's your ideal vision of our community?
The ideal vision, I think people need to feel safe. A community, needs to be providing opportunities, positive opportunities for people. We need to be providing these opportunities. They need to have a sense of hope. Communities in general need to be providing a quality of life, I guess, is the basis of it. So, quality of life, hope, opportunity, economic stability would be my vision for our community, certainly.
And what do you think are the major strengths of our community?
The strengths of our community? Oh, by far, it's people. The people of Fort St. John, the people of North Peace are, an incredibly resilient group of people. And you can trace this back to, to the recession in the 80s. You can even go back to our forefathers, the people that have worked the land and made Port St. John what it is. We've always pulled together as a community whenever there's been problems, whenever there's been issues, and we can really see it just recently with the forest fires in the area, how the communities all came together, and it wasn't just a Fort St. John thing. I mean, in fact, the fires weren't even in Fort St. John, but the entire region pulled together to support people that were affected by the fires, providing clothing, providing food, providing shelter, providing all of those things, without even being asked to do that. People just stepped forward and did that. And I think that speaks volumes. I talked briefly about the FSJ for LNG. We had the opportunity to organize a rally and to try and send a message to Ottawa. Well, we only had a few days to organize that. And we ended up at the end of the day for our rally pulling together over 500 trucks, $200 million worth of equipment, and getting those people involved to get together and to send a message to Ottawa. And to do that with, just sending the word out there and asking people, absolutely fantastic in regards to getting people involved and organizations like that. We're lucky, and in our region we have Fort Nelson, which is very reliant on the natural gas sector, and because that is so slow right now, they're really feeling the impacts. But Fort St. John, we're a little more economically diverse, and that's another strength for us. Certainly, the natural gas is slow here as well and affecting a lot of people, but we do have, a third of our population still employed by, a fairly strong forestry sector. agriculture is going very well in the Northeast, and even tourism for that matter. So we're quite lucky here in Fort St. John to have at least a little bit of some of these other industries that we can fall back on, and hopefully get us through this slowdown. So I think those would be certainly a couple strengths that we have.
And what do you think are the major challenges faced by our communities presently?
The economic downturn. The economic downturn by far is one of the biggest challenges that we're facing right now as a community, as a region. And there probably isn't one person that isn't affected by this economic downturn. So I would say right now that is by far our biggest thing that's affecting us right now. Healthcare, I've been talking lots about healthcare. Again, there's probably not many people that haven't been somehow affected or certainly aware of some of the issues around healthcare. I commend our doctors, I commend our professionals that are in healthcare, but we need to be looking at how we can hopefully provide something a little more for the community. So I think that would be one thing that we also need to look at improving as well.
Excellent. And what do you think needs to be done by the current federal and provincial governments at a fast pace to boost our economy?
Well, our provincial government is working quite well in supporting LNG initiatives. So I'm not as worried about the provincial government, but our federal government needs to be acting very quickly on approving our LNG projects that are on the horizon. Specifically the Pacific Northwest LNG project. We've already spoken about how many people have been affected by this downturn in Fort St. John and even more so in Fort Nelson. So the federal government needs to be looking at ways that we can get the pipelines going, get these LNG plants going so that we can all get back to work here. Looking on the east side though, the federal government also needs to be looking at the Energy East pipeline. At the end of the day, it's getting our product to market. We're having issues, whether it's in British Columbia or Alberta, having problems getting our product to market. So we can't get our natural gas out to the coast and get it shipped off to world markets, nor can the Albertans get their oil to their markets as well. So that would be the two biggest things I need that the federal government needs to be actioning right now.
And what's your opinion about the new federal budget?
To be honest, I think it's reckless. I think when the federal Liberals ran on the election campaign in October, they were looking at a $10 billion deficit, and of course we've now found out it's a $30 billion deficit. I don't think first and foremost that's fair for our children to be taking on this much debt. So that is probably the biggest thing. I think it's too much debt, focusing on wants, not enough needs, as the first part. Infrastructure was also, they ran a lot on improving the federal infrastructure for Canada as part of an initiative to get people back to work, getting, to start stimulating the economy. And at the end of the day, when the budget was released, there was very little actually assigned to infrastructure needs. So I think that those are probably the two biggest issues I have with the federal budget. And there's no timeline to be working toward a balanced budget. So that's kind of scary when you just give more money out. It's like I say, $30 billion this year, similar again next year. We need to be having that end sight. When are we going to be working toward a balanced budget? And that wasn't included in the budget. So I think it was too rich for an uncertain time in the world right now, uncertain time for Canadians right now. So I think it was too much. It is too much money.
Thank you. And you have held many chair positions in the community. So please tell us if these chairs have been stable, shaky, or revolving.
I've been pretty lucky to be involved in many different organizations, many of which I've chaired. I was one of the most enjoyable organizations I've chaired is the North Peace Economic Development Commission. I chaired that for 5 or 6 years, and we did some incredible things in our region. around economic development. You know, the grant writer, as just an example, which is still going today. Chairing the Restorative Justice Board, which again, you know, has come from an organization, a very part-time organization that was faltering to quite a vibrant organization now. So I think the organizations that I have chaired have been very stable, and I like, you know, I've always had a great team, you know, a great board that has helped me out, you know, so I think that's been very lucky for me as a person who's been involved in these organizations.
And if you become the next Prime Minister of the country, what will be the first few things you will do then for our community?
Well, as the Prime Minister, first of all, it'd be an incredible honor to be the Prime Minister of such a great country. But first and foremost, my job would be still to represent the people. You know, the Prime Minister has a riding that he's responsible for. And, you know, LNG would certainly fit as a part of that. Making sure that our communities are vibrant and making sure that people are gainfully employed. LNG fits part of that. A strong forestry sector, which we are again lucky to have. A strong agricultural community as well. So supporting supporting these programs would in turn lead to, of course, you know, providing those opportunities that we can provide, you know, hopefully having everybody with a family doctor, you know, in our community, providing, you know, hope and providing these opportunities. So if I was Prime Minister, it would be focusing on, you know, on our industries, making sure that people are gainfully employed, so that we can then in turn look at providing all of these, you know, these quality of life issues that, you know, that we deserve as Canadians and certainly as people of the North Peace.
And we know you're proud to call the energetic city home, but please tell us, where do you see yourself in 5 years? In Fort St. John or Victoria or Ottawa? Well,
in 5 years, I will still be in Fort St. John, but I'm hoping to represent the citizens of Fort St. John in Victoria. You know, as an MLA, my residence will still be here in Fort St. John. Even as a Member of Parliament, my residence will still be in Fort St. John. This is where I was born. My family's from here. We've been up here, you know, somewhat a pioneer family for the North Peace. You know, it has made me who I am today. It has provided me and my family with many opportunities, and I cannot see myself going anywhere, you know, regarding that, other than, you know, what I need to do. And of course, you know, representing us, yes, they're you know, when the House is sitting, when the legislature is sitting, you know, certainly going to be in either Ottawa or Victoria. But in 5 years, I think it'll be, well, quite frankly, I'm pretty sure it might be Victoria. So that's where, you know, I'll be Fort St. John and in Victoria.
And at this point, what's your message for the community?
Well, if I were to send out just a general message to the community, it would be to get involved. You know, we've often heard the saying that 10% of the people do 90% of the work. And if I had a goal, I would like to change that. If everybody just did a little bit to help out their community, a little bit to get involved with organizations, what a great community we would have. So, and my grandfather always told me, you only get out of your community what you put into your community. Getting involved in organizations such as the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, you know, volunteer during the Poppy campaign to, you know, to look after a box. You know, get involved with the Kin Club. There are so many incredible organizations in Fort St. John that make our community the great community that it is. My message to people is get involved, become part of something great, and we will all get something great in return. And that's this great community that we live in.
Thank you for coming to our program, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.